If you have the courage to hear the full nightmare, stay till the end. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to uncover more terrifying stories like this. I could hear it again last night, the crying that no one else could hear. It started just after midnight. The wind was calm, unnaturally calm, and my house, old and isolated, felt like it had been waiting. I had been trying to sleep, but then I heard it. Soft, broken, desperate. It wasn't coming from the street or the forest behind my house. It was coming from inside my own walls. At first, I thought it was pipes. Old houses made strange noises. But this was human. And it sounded exactly like me. I froze, every muscle stiff. My mind screamed to run, but curiosity, something far darker than fear, kept me in place. The crying grew louder, as if it were following me, crawling through the shadows. I reached for the light. The switch barely worked. When the bulb flickered, I saw something I couldn't explain, a shadow moving just beyond my doorway. Not like normal darkness. It had shape, intent. Then the crying stopped. Silence pressed against my ears. Then, in the quiet, I heard it clearly. "Why didn't you save me?" I spun around. Empty room. My heart slammed. The walls were cold, but the air felt heavier, thicker, like something had exhaled right behind me. I backed into the hall. The lights flickered again. And there it was, a figure standing in the corner, taller than me, perfectly still. Its head tilted, unnaturally, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. My own face, reflected in horror, pale and twisted, stared back at me. I tried to scream. Nothing. Only my own voice, echoing, but wrong. It took a step forward. Then another. The floorboards creaked with unnatural weight. Then it whispered, "I've been waiting, listening, watching you sleep." Cold fingers brushed my shoulder. I spun, but nothing was there. Just shadows and that crying. That horrible, familiar, human crying. But coming from the walls, from the floor, from the air itself. I ran to the window. Outside, nothing. No streets. No lights. Only the dark forest, silent, like it had swallowed the world. But I could still hear it, the crying that only I could hear, growing louder, louder, impossible to ignore. Then I realized it wasn't outside. It wasn't anywhere. It was inside me. And that's when the whisper came again. "You'll join me soon." The lights went out. Completely. And in the darkness, I heard footsteps behind me. Soft, dragging, deliberate. Closer. Closer. If you're still listening, stay. Don't blink. The worst is coming next. The crying didn't stop. It followed me from room to room, echoing off the walls like it had a life of its own. Every step I took, every turn I made, it grew louder, closer, almost mocking me. I thought I saw a movement out of the corner of my eye, shadows that weren't mine. They slithered along the walls, curling toward me, whispering my name. "Elias. Elias." I froze. My stomach turned. The air felt thick, heavy, as if I was swimming in black tar. My phone, my only connection to the world, was dead. No signal, no light, nothing. Then the shadows split. One moved across the floor like liquid, pooling into a shape that mimicked me. Its mouth opened in a silent scream, but I could hear it perfectly. "Why didn't you answer me?" I stumbled backward. My own voice called back, but distorted, coming from everywhere at once. The shadow stepped closer. Its movements were jerky, unnatural, like a puppet being forced to imitate life. Suddenly, the crying stopped. Silence. Absolute silence. Then a knock. Not at a door, not a window, at the wall behind me. I whipped around. Nothing. Just the shadows writhing across the walls like black snakes. A faint outline appeared on the ceiling, dripping down toward me. The walls seemed to pulse, breathing, alive. And the whisper came again, closer, inside my mind. "You left me in the dark. Now it's my turn." I ran to the stairs, desperate for escape. Each step creaked under my weight. Halfway down, I slipped, but it wasn't the floor that made me fall. Something grabbed my ankle. Cold, tight, impossible to shake off. I looked down. Nothing, just darkness. Then my own face appeared, floating in the blackness. Its eyes were hollow, black as the void, and it grinned. My blood froze. I could hear the crying again, but this time it wasn't coming from outside, or even the house. It was coming from me. The shadow reached for me. I screamed. My voice echoed back at me, twisted, screaming for someone else to help. But there was no one. Then a loud crack, like bones snapping. I stumbled into the wall, my shoulder slammed into the drywall. And the whisper came one last time before the lights flickered. Join me, or die here. The lights went out. Complete darkness. Silence for a moment. Then the footsteps started, soft, dragging, circling me. Every step echoed like a heartbeat. I realized I wasn't just being watched. I was being hunted. And the thing that hunted me knew everything. Every fear, every secret, every regret. The shadows gathered in the hallway, waiting, patient, hungry. The darkness didn't stay still. It shifted, like the whole house exhaled, slow and heavy. The walls expanded, then tightened, like ribs around a heartbeat. The air vibrated. My skin crawled as if hundreds of unseen hands brushed against me. I wasn't imagining it. The house was breathing. My pulse hammered in my throat. Every instinct screamed run, but my legs wouldn't obey. The floor beneath me felt warm, pulsing, like flesh. Then I heard it again. Not crying this time. Gasping. From the walls. From the floor. From right behind my ear. Let me out, let me out. I spun, but there was no one. The hallway stretched longer than it should have, each shadow reaching toward me like fingers. My voice whispered from the darkness. You locked me inside. I stumbled backward. My shoulder hit the wall, and the wall moved. I jerked away, but the drywall bulged outward, forming the shape of a face pressing from inside the wall. My face. Its mouth opened in a silent scream. I fell to the floor, scrambling backward, my nails scraping against the wood. The shadow me in the wall blinked, slow, mechanical, and then its mouth split impossibly wide. A voice ripped out of the wall, deeper and more broken than before. You buried me alive. My breath hitched. I didn't. The wall face screamed, the sound warping into something inhuman, rattling the floorboards, vibrating my bones. The hallway lights flickered violently. On, off, on, off, each flash showing something different. The hallway empty. Then something crouched at the far end. Then nothing. Then something crawling toward me on all fours. Then nothing. Then something right in front of me, only inches away. I scrambled up and ran. The corridor warped around me, stretching, twisting like a maze, rearranging itself as I moved. Doors appeared where there weren't doors before. Some were open, revealing endless blackness. Others trembled, as if someone, or something, was pounding to get out. The crying started again. But now it wasn't one voice. It was multiple. Hundreds. All of them sounded like me. They whispered, screamed, begged. Don't leave us, don't leave us, don't leave us. I covered my ears, but the voices burst through my skull like they were inside my brain. The floor suddenly cracked beneath me, splitting open like a mouth. Darkness yawned below, swirling, pulling. I slid toward it, clawing at the floor. A hand shot out of the crack. My hand. It grabbed my wrist with a strength no corpse should have. Its nails dug into my flesh. I screamed as it tried to pull me down. The wood around the crack splintered, widening. I saw faces below. My faces. Dozens, hundreds, all staring up at me with hollow eyes. And they whispered in unison. Come home. The floor gave way. I fell. And everything went black that I didn't hit the ground. I just kept falling. The darkness wasn't empty. It felt thick, like sinking through cold smoke. Shapes moved around me, brushing my skin, whispering in voices that sounded like mine but twisted, stretched wrong. Then the fall stopped. I landed on something soft. Too soft. I reached under my hands. Hair. Human hair. I scrambled to my feet, my breath shaking. The ground beneath me was a carpet of tangled, matted hair, pulsing gently as if something alive moved beneath it. A faint red glow lit the space. Not enough to see clearly, just enough to feel unsafe. I wasn't in a room. I was in a cavity, like the inside of something enormous and breathing. And then I heard it. A sound that almost broke me. Hundreds of voices whispering my name at once. Elias. 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 I turned slowly. Figures began rising from the floor, their bodies still tangled in the hair as if they'd been sleeping beneath it. My face. My clothes. My broken expressions. All of them were me. But wrong. Some had heads that twitched at impossible angles. Some had mouths too wide, like they'd been torn open. Some had no eyes at all, just black empty pits dripping something thick. They surrounded me in a perfect circle, all swaying lightly, like puppets on unseen strings. Then one of them stepped forward. It looked like me, but its skin hung loose, dripping. Its jaw unhinged slowly as it whispered, "You're not supposed to be alive." My throat locked. Another version of me spoke, voice shaking. "You left us in the dark." A third stepped forward, fingers bent backward. "You crawled away, but we never did." They moved closer, limbs dragging, some crawling, some sliding across the floor like insects wearing human skin. I backed away, but the ground grabbed me. Strands of hair wrapped around my ankles like tentacles, tightening, pulling. I tore at them, but they only wrapped tighter, burrowing into my skin like living threads. The red glow intensified. A deeper voice echoed through the chamber. A voice that didn't sound human at all. "Bring him to me." My clones obeyed instantly. They rushed me, hands gripping my arms, my legs, my throat. Their skin was icy, rubbery, wrong. One pressed its forehead against mine and whispered in a shaking breath, "We are what you abandoned." I screamed, struggling, kicking, clawing. But they lifted me effortlessly, carrying me across the chamber toward a massive opening in the wall. A doorway made of ribs. Actual ribs. Gigantic ones. Curved and fused together like the mouth of a living creature. Behind the ribbed archway, something moved. Slow, massive, ancient. The hair on the floor trembled. Every clone went silent. Then the voice came again. Closer this time. "Return to your place." The clones pushed me forward. The ribs closed behind me like teeth. "If you're still here." Next story is where you finally meet what lives under the house. And you won't forget it. The ribs slammed shut behind me with a wet, echoing thud. I was inside something's mouth. The passage ahead was narrow, the walls pulsing like muscle, tightening and releasing, as if breathing around me. The air was warm and humid, thick enough that each inhale felt like swallowing someone else's breath. Then, something moved. A massive, dragging sound, followed by a deep exhale that vibrated through the floor of flesh beneath my feet. I wasn't alone. I stepped forward, hands trembling, and the faint red glow behind me faded until nothing remained but darkness. Pure, suffocating black. That's when the voice came again. But this time, it wasn't echoing. It was right in front of me. "Elias." My name rolled out like a growl buried under a whisper. Instinct told me not to answer, but something in me responded anyway. "Yes." A low rumble answered, almost like laughter, but wrong, as if bones were grinding together. Then, slowly, painfully slowly, something began to unfold in the darkness. First, I saw its fingers. Too many of them. They unfurled like branches, each one long, jointed, bending in directions human limbs should never bend. They touched the ground with a soft tapping, like nails made of glass. Then its face appeared, or what I thought was a face. It was a stretched, sagging version of my own, but melted, distorted, as if someone sculpted me out of wax and then left me in the sun. A second face pressed beneath it, and a third, all shifting beneath the surface like something trapped inside. It leaned forward, its mouth moving beneath the melted skin. "You belong down here," it murmured. "You were made from this place." My stomach twisted. "What are you?" I whispered. Its melted cheek split, opening like a wound trying to speak. "I am the one who waited when you climbed away." Another voice answered from beneath the skin. "And the one you left behind." A third groaned from deep within. "And the one you will become." It stepped closer, and the entire chamber groaned with its weight. The ribbed walls trembled. The flesh beneath us pulsed faster, like a heartbeat reacting to fear. I backed away, but the floor again wrapped around my feet, veins and tendons tightening like ropes. The creature lifted its head, and the faces beneath its skin screamed. All at once, a chorus of agony and hunger. It extended one of its many-fingered hands and touched my cheek. Cold, wet, electric. The touch sent a shock through my skull, images flashing in my mind. Me, buried alive. My clones clawing at the floor above. The house breathing. Something pulling me back underground. But I escaped, leaving it behind. The creature's voice returned. Soft, almost loving. "You were never supposed to leave your others." Then its fingers slid beneath my skin. Not cutting, not piercing, sinking, like my flesh had been waiting for it. I screamed as my vision blurred, darkness swelling in the edges of my sight. And then everything stopped. Silence. Stillness. Except for one last whisper, right against my ear. I couldn't see. I couldn't move. For a moment, I thought I was dead, suspended in a silent, suffocating void. But then I felt it. A slow, crawling sensation beneath my skin, like something shifting inside me, learning the shape of my body from the inside out. Then came the memories. Not mine. They flooded in so fast my mind cracked open around them. A child crying in a dirt basement. A woman screaming while being dragged across the floor. A group of men digging under the house, whispering about a breeding chamber. 100 bodies buried side by side. Then, me, or someone wearing my face. It crawled out from the dirt, gasping for air, leaving the others behind. Leaving it behind. The creature's voice echoed inside my skull. You ran first. You left the rest to starve in the dark. The vision tore away. I gasped, finally feeling my body again. But something was terribly wrong. My fingers twitched on their own. My heartbeat didn't feel like one beat, but two, overlapping, as if something inside me lived on a second rhythm. A dim red light flickered ahead, revealing the chamber again. A long tunnel of living flesh. And the creature still standing over me. Only now, it looked different. It looked more like me. Not melted. Not monstrous. Its skin had tightened, reshaping itself, copying my features with horrifying precision. Its eyes were still wrong, too deep, too empty. But the rest, it was becoming me. What are you doing? I whispered. It tilted its head, studying its new skin like it didn't quite know how to wear it. Preparing, it said. For what? It stepped closer. The chamber pulsed. The hair on the floor writhed. For your return. The walls trembled as it spoke, and a ripple moved through them, like something massive turning in its sleep deep within the house's foundations. I pushed myself backward, hands slipping on the wet, pulsing ground. I'm not one of you, I stammered. I'm human. The creature leaned in until its forehead pressed against mine. The touch was cold enough to make frost bloom across my skin. Its voice dropped to a whisper so soft it barely existed. Then why do you remember the dark? My breath stopped. Because it was right. When the false memories had surged through me moments ago, something inside me recognized the dark. Not as a nightmare. As home. I tried to deny it, my voice breaking. They're not my memories. They're yours. The creature shook its head slowly, a dozen faces shifting beneath its skin. They belong to all of us. You were the first to climb out. The first to pretend you were real. My stomach twisted. No, I whispered. I was born upstairs. I lived a normal life. You lived my life, it corrected. You took it when you escaped the pit. My vision blurred again. But this time, not from the creature. From inside me. My skin crawled. Something pressed upward. From beneath my ribs. Like fingers pushing from the inside. The creature stepped back, smiling with my smile. The pressure beneath my ribs grew sharper, like something was scraping its way up inside me. I clutched my chest, falling to my knees as a tremor ripped through my spine. The creature watched me silently. Not helping. Not stopping it. Just waiting. The floor beneath me reacted, the fleshy surface tightening like muscle under tension. Veins bulged around my hands, pulsing fast, matching the rhythm of the second heartbeat inside me. Thump, 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 thump. My heartbeat, and its heartbeat, inside the same body. I tried to scream, but a thick, choking sound escaped instead, like another voice was trying to push through mine. Something moved under my skin, sliding upward along my sternum. The creature finally spoke. It's waking. I forced myself to speak through the rising pain. What is it? It stepped closer, its new human-like face inches from mine. It is the part of you that stayed behind in the pit. The part that never learned to pretend it was human. My bones felt like they were bending. Heat surged under my skin, boiling, expanding. I looked down at my stomach. Something inside pressed outward, stretching the skin like a handprint pushing from beneath. Then another. Small. Sharp-fingered. Desperate. I grabbed at my torso, trying to hold it in. Get it out. I screamed. Get it out. The creature shook its head slowly. It belongs inside you. It always has. My vision fractured, splitting into two images at once. One image saw the corridor, the pulsing walls. The other saw darkness. A coffin-like space. Dirt falling from above. Dozens of hands clawing at me, begging me not to leave. Two memories. Two lives. Two versions of me colliding in the same skull. I slammed my head back against the floor, trying to knock the visions out. The creature knelt beside me. You're becoming whole again. No, I spat, struggling against the hair like tendrils wrapping around my legs. I'm not one of you. It leaned close to my ear. You keep saying you, but you've never once said we. My throat tightened. I tasted blood. The pressure inside me surged again. And for a moment, I felt the thing inside my chest breathing. Not with me. Against me. A counterbreath. Inhale when I exhaled. Exhale when I inhaled. My body wasn't mine anymore. Something small and sharp pushed up beneath my collarbone, then slid downward, as if testing the walls of its cage. I screamed, clawing at my own skin, trying to tear it out. And the creature grabbed my wrists. Not to help. To hold me still. You must not remove it, it said softly. It is the original you. The one who never left. My ribs began to crack. One by one. Each snap echoing through the chamber like breaking twigs. My body jerked violently. The creature smiled with my smile. The first rib snapped. Not inward, but outward. The sound was sharp and wet, echoing through the fleshy chamber as my body arched off the ground. My breath hitched, trapped somewhere between my lungs and the thing pressing up against them. The creature still held my wrists, its grip gentle, almost comforting, like a parent watching a child go through something inevitable. Then I felt it. A vibration, deep inside my spine, like a whisper trying to travel through my bones. My jaw clenched involuntarily. Another rib cracked. Then the whisper sharpened, forming syllables. Not from my throat. From inside my ribcage. Elias. It said my name with a trembling, breathless rasp, as if its mouth was forming for the first time. I froze. Even the creature grew still, its expression softening with something like reverence. The thing inside me spoke again, stronger this time, scraping against my bones. Why did you leave me? My skin prickled. My mind fractured. I gasped. You're not. Another rib cracked violently. My voice died. The creature leaned closer, its lips almost touching my ear. It remembers everything you forget, it whispered. The thing inside me shifted upward, sliding just beneath the skin of my chest. I saw its outline, small, human-shaped, curled like a child pressed into the wrong womb. Then it screamed. But the scream didn't come from my mouth. It came from every bone. A vibrating shriek that rattled the entire chamber and sent waves through the pulsing walls. My eyes rolled back as pain shot through my skull. Images flooded me. 2 children trapped underground. One climbs toward a crack of light. One slips deeper into the pit. The one who escapes finds a house, a life, a name. The one left behind becomes something else. The voice inside me whispered, "You crawled away and left me in the dark." No, I choked. That wasn't me. We were one, it hissed. And suddenly everything made sense. The clones, the memories, the darkness I remembered even though I shouldn't. I wasn't one person. I was half of something. Incomplete. The creature released my wrists. Not because I escaped, but because it no longer needed to hold me still. I couldn't move at all. The tendrils on the floor rose, wrapping around my arms and legs, lifting me slightly off the ground like an offering. My skin stretched as the thing inside pushed upward again, this time toward my throat. The chamber dimmed. The heartbeat beneath us slowed. And then the tiny, sharp fingers inside my chest pressed against the underside of my skin, right over my heart. Tap, 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 almost like it was knocking, almost like it wanted out. The creature stepped back, murmuring, "It's time." The voice inside me whispered one last, trembling sentence. The knocking beneath my skin grew louder. Tap, tap, tap. Each strike sent a shock through my chest, making my vision blur with white-hot pain. My ribs weren't ribs anymore, they were hinges. And something behind them wanted the door open. The creature watched with calm, hollow eyes, its face now fully my own, every detail copied with disturbing precision. It stood perfectly still, like a reflection waiting for the mirror to crack. The voice inside me whispered again, "Give it back." My throat tightened as the thing crawled upward, its small hands dragging along the inside of my chest cavity. I felt every finger, every knuckle, every sharp nail. I gasped for air, but it wasn't air I needed. I needed it to stop. "Please," I begged, grabbing at my chest. "Please don't." It responded with a sudden, violent shove under my sternum. My spine arched. My head snapped back. A gurgling cry tore from my throat. Not human, not mine. The creature stepped closer. "It's almost free." I shook my head wildly, tears blurring my vision. No, this is my body. The creature tilted its head, smiling with my lips. Your body? Elias, you stole this body. You climbed out of the pit first. You gasped the air meant for both of you. You walked upstairs and pretended to be whole. The hair like tendrils tightened around my limbs, lifting me higher. My back hovered inches above the pulsing floor. Inside me, the thing laughed. A thin, brittle, childlike giggle that made bile rise in my throat. Then it spoke through my bones again. You left me to rot. My heart hammered hard enough to bruise my ribs from the inside. I felt the thing press its face against the inner wall of my chest, its forehead pushing up beneath the skin. A bulge rose. Then another. It was climbing, trying to reach my throat. Stop, I screamed. I didn't abandon you. My voice cracked. The creature answered calmly. You did. And now the other half is here to take your place. A sharp pain sliced up my chest as the small, jagged outline inside me forced itself higher, distorting my skin. My collarbone cracked like brittle wood. I convulsed, choking as the thing's tiny hands pressed against the inside of my neck. It was trying to pull itself upward, trying to wear me from the inside. The creature whispered, almost tender. You wore life that wasn't yours. Now it will wear you. My skin split at the top of my chest. A thin, red line. A seam. A beginning. Warm blood slid down my stomach. The thing inside me pushed its tiny fingers into the opening, forcing the seam wider, tearing me open from the inside like unzipping a suit. I screamed so loudly the entire chamber trembled. The creature stepped back. To give it room, my ribs cracked outward. My chest opened, and I saw it. Small, pale, wrong. Its face an unfinished version of mine. Eyes hollow, teeth too many, skin paper thin. It looked at me, not with hatred, with hunger. The creature whispered, with my voice, "Welcome home," and the thing climbed out. If you enjoyed this horror story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon for more terrifying stories.